Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and we're going to be covering AMC in this video. I'm not going over the bearish case because I've really gone over the bearish viewpoint of the stock right now. I want to point out the potential upside on this stock. Now, I'm not hyping it up and I don't really believe this stock is bullish. I'm actually kind of bearish on the stock, but there's a few things that we should look at with a stock that has a bullish case on it because there is clear manipulation when it comes to this, and there's a reason that there is a probability that they're actually falsifying the information and not releasing all these short interest data because the fees are so minuscule. So that is worth noting as well. So there's a few things I do want to cover here, and it's worth noting AMC is one of the most held stocks on Robinhood. Actually, it is the most held stock on Robinhood. But before we get into that content, I need you to do one thing and one thing only. Hit that sub button down below, leave a thumbs up, and have the notifications turned on because I'm posting videos every single day about the stocks that I'm trading, the gems that I have recently found, and then doing updates regarding the stocks you guys are requesting. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get to it. Before we get into the actual content, guys, I'm going to be live around 9 p.m. Central, so I'll actually be doing charting around AMC, and then other stocks I'll be trading going into tomorrow. But I do want to cover some stuff going on with this stock. I don't want to spend too much time in the stream going over this. I want you guys to watch this before you get into the stream because there is some bullish case scenarios for the stock. But looking at the stock from a perspective right now, I am bearish on the stock. I want to make that very clear. What I'm talking about right now has the reason for us to potentially turn bullish. We saw a move up in the beginning of the day to around $6.40 and then quickly being rejected again. I want to go over volume and some of the good news around the stock, so that's what you can expect if you're sticking around to wait and look at these articles and then look at the charting as well. So let's get right into the articles and then we'll get into the charting. So the first thing I want to cover here is the overall volume. So we've seen that we've been decreasing day after day after day after day, going up, and then today something different happened. We actually increased to 150 million. Stock should be closing in around 10 minutes, so that will actually trend a little further up as well. So that's worth noting. That's a good note. Volume is coming back into the stock, potentially getting more buyers. So that is worth noting. The one thing that has me not looking very good on the stock is this. So if we come over here to FINRA, now this data could be falsified. Okay, this 100% could be falsified. I'm going to get into that here in a second, but I want to look at the actual short interest. This is what's being released to the public, 15.7 short interest. And then if we come over here, we can look at GameStop as well. GameStop is showing 78.46. GameStop is still pretty high. That's worth noting. GameStop short interest is still very high compared to AMC. But we want to focus on AMC because that's the point of this video. Okay, so let's say you're a hedge fund and you're heavily short on this stock, correct? You know if you release your information, high possibility more retail comes into the stock and tries to squeeze out your positions, and there's a high probability you lose millions, if not billions of dollars on your short positions if you release that information. However, you can release false information, not giving all the information to the public, and take a tiny, minuscule fine. Now, compared to me and you, this is a pretty heavy fine, but compared to losing millions, if not $1 billion on a stock, like how much they lost on GameStop, it's a $190K fee if you report the wrong information. That is it. It's a slap on the wrist, and the SEC kind of just allows this. That is it. They pay the tiny fee. So it's definitely in the hedge fund's favor to misreport this information. That's why you're seeing AMC at 15% and then you're seeing GameStop at 78%. Something's not right. Did AMC just get absolutely destroyed with the shorts? Did everyone already cover their positions? It doesn't really make any sense at all that GameStop is still close to 80% and AMC is all the way down at 15.71. Absolutely insane, and honestly I don't buy it. But I did point out in my other video, even if the information came out falsified, it's still bearish for the stock. So right now in the short term, it is bearish news for the stock because there's no evidence. We don't know what's really going on, and you can't really trust any of the information out there. Back to the thesis that Robinhood and all these big names are really screwing the little guys, me and you. So if you're in this position, it really sucks because you don't really know what information is right and what's wrong. Ultimately, if I had to give my opinion right or wrong on this is not financial advice, but I would say the information they're giving is about a 99% chance that it's falsified or not the right information overall, or they're withholding a lot of information as well. I can almost guarantee that they have more shorts on the stock, but I can't give you a guarantee because I don't know what these hedge funds have in their portfolio. But I don't think the shorts just disappeared in that amount of time. What does this mean for your positions for being bullish? When the right information does get released, there's a high possibility that retail starts coming back in. Now, we won't know for about 2 weeks if this information is falsified, so that is worth noting. And I mean, you're still living on a prayer if you're sitting in a stock hoping. Now, is it right now a good time to enter? This is where it gets pretty tricky. You could enter some month-long call options and hope you get lucky and this thing shoots off once the right information gets released, because there's a high probability it's still above 40%, maybe even 50%. It just makes sense that it would be that high. Another thing worth noting, I mentioned Wander Group before. These companies are converting Class B to Class A stock, so there's a possibility that they're looking for another push up as well before they get rid of their stock. I don't think they sell their stock right now at this $5 to $6 range. It's just not profitable for them. They could have sold above $10, so that is worth noting as well. But as we see, the volume is kicking back up. Once the right information or some clarification behind this information is released, I do believe things could get interesting and more in the bullish side of things. But in the short term right now, it does not look great. And if you're opening calls here, it's a very risky position and you're kind of back to square one, hoping that the wrong information was given out and that there is some very good short interest on the back end of things. But like I said, I thought things would be bearish no matter what, as long as the information came out bad, falsified or not. So there's still a possibility we push down below $5. I know that's not what you guys want to hear, but that's ultimately what can happen. We're going to get into the charts because things don't look terrible, but they don't look great looking at the end of the day today. Okay, so it's worth noting I go live every morning from 8:30 about to 10 a.m. Central. So I did cover this morning, so you were able to cover what actually happened with this stock. So it's pretty interesting. We get an overall move up to start the day, and now we're coming back to that daily open, looking below the VWAP once again, shifting the momentum back to the downside. This is not what you wanted to see if you were a bull in the stock. But there is some positive going on. Like I mentioned yesterday in the video, we're getting a rounding of that bottom on the OBV, trying to get some legs up and trying to get a break up. If we can get a break on the OBV, it has that volume like we saw in the beginning, like I pointed out from Yahoo Finance. It's getting that volume. So a break on the OBV could definitely push us to some highs back around the $8 range. And that's really what you want to see if you're a bull here, but it's not looking good. Honestly, if we start pushing down below $5, it's a clear entry. I think it's a clear, there's very low risk compared to the reward. The upside's massive. If you start opening some longer term call options, things could get very interesting for your positions. So keep that in mind, because I do like that overall. But it's looking like right now we're going to get pushed below this daily open, maybe retest and get some trickle down downside below that $5 marker. I'm not saying we go to $3. I'm mainly aiming towards the $5.20 to $5 range overall. I did mention in my video this morning that I'm targeting the $4.70 to $4.80. That's going to be a very sweet buy zone. And if we start coming below $5, I'm definitely becoming a buyer. And I'm going to be pretty risky on this position, and I'm going to start opening up a position overall here because I think there will be some massive upside if the information released was falsified, which, like I said, there's a high possibility. So the reward compared to the downside is very, very large. So that's worth noting as well. So looking at AMC, what are my overall thoughts? We're getting the movement that we overall projected from this morning and from last night's overall stream. The information given to us about the short interest was all over the place. We saw 70%, we saw 30%, and then we saw 15% to start the day. Absolutely terrible. There's a high probability that all this information given to us is completely falsified. That is worth noting, and you can't really trust anything, which is really sad to hear, is that the big hedge funds in these big places are still screwing the little guy, and the SEC is slapping them on the wrist with a $190K fine. It's still not very fair. So you need to be playing this very, very smart. Things can get pretty dangerous when you're playing against the big guy and you're the little guy. That's worth noting as well. So if you don't have money to risk and this money is something you can't really afford to lose, I don't really recommend getting into this at all. That's not financial advice, but you shouldn't really be investing something you're not willing to lose. That's just kind of a rule overall. This is a very dangerous ground to be covering, and things obviously are manipulated in this space. It's a shame to say, but that's the market that we're in right now. Again, I will be live at 9 p.m. Central tonight, so make sure you tune in. If you got something out of this, make sure you hit that thumbs up down below, please subscribe, and make sure you have the notifications turned on. I'm posting videos every single day. I posted a video before this. I'll probably post another video after this regarding stocks I think are a very good buy right now. Have a good one, boys. Namaste.